You must learn to let go. Release the stress. You were never in control anyway. Steve Maraboli. Life is a delicate balance of effort and surrender. We often fall into the trap of believing that sheer force of will can shape every circumstance to our desires. We push, we strain, we exhaust ourselves trying to control every outcome, every detail, every moment. But the truth is, not everything in life yields to force. Success, happiness, and fulfillment come not from forcing everything into place, but from learning to act decisively where you can and releasing what you cannot. When you stop forcing, you allow the natural rhythm of life to align things in ways you could never orchestrate alone. Consider the farmer planting a field of wheat. He prepares the soil, sows the seeds, and waters them diligently. He monitors for pests and weeds, putting in the work to give the crop its best chance. But he cannot make the sun shine brighter or force the rain to fall. He cannot speed up the growth of each stalk. If he were to stand over the field, shouting at the seeds to sprout or digging them up to check their progress, he would only harm the harvest. Instead, he does his part and trusts the process. The wheat grows in its own time, under conditions he can influence but not command. This is the essence of wise action. Do what is in your power, then let go of the rest. Take a moment to think about your own life. Perhaps you are pushing for a promotion at work, staying late, taking on extra projects, and constantly proving your worth. You can control your effort, your preparation, and your attitude. But you cannot control your boss's decision, the company's budget, or the timing of an opening. If you obsess over these factors, checking in daily with your manager or fretting over every delay, you risk burning out or alienating those around you. Instead, focus on doing exceptional work and building your skills. Then release the outcome. Often the promotion, or an even better opportunity, comes when you least expect it. Not because you forced it, but because you prepared and let the pieces fall into place. There are factors in life you can control: your effort, your attitude, your decisions. These are the tools of the successful. They act with intention, setting goals, building habits, and taking responsibility for their path. But there are also factors beyond your grasp: the actions of others, the timing of opportunities, the unpredictability of external events. No amount of willpower can force these into submission. The harder you try, the more you risk frustration, burnout, and missed opportunities. Knowing the difference between what you can control and what you cannot is the foundation of a disciplined, purposeful life. For example, imagine you are trying to build a new friendship. You can control how you show up, being kind, listening attentively, and making time to connect. You can initiate plans and express genuine interest. But you cannot control how the other person responds, whether they reciprocate your enthusiasm or what challenges they may be facing in their own life. If you push too hard, texting constantly or demanding their attention, you may drive them away. But if you focus on being your best self and give the relationship room to breathe, it will either grow naturally or make space for other connections that align better with your energy. Forcing a friendship rarely works. Authentic bonds form when you act with care and let trust develop over time. Forcing things creates resistance. When you push too hard, you often push away the very outcomes you seek. Relationships strain under pressure to conform to your vision. Careers stagnate when you cling to a rigid plan that no longer serves you. Even personal growth falters when you demand perfection at every step. Success requires action, yes, but it also requires patience, trust, and the wisdom to step back. When you release the need to control every piece of the puzzle, you make room for life to surprise you with solutions and opportunities you could not have forced into being. Consider a small business owner launching a new product. She researches the market, designs a quality item, and creates a marketing campaign. She pours her heart into the launch, but the initial sales are slower than expected. She could panic, slashing prices or bombarding customers with promotions, trying to force immediate success. But this often backfires, making her seem desperate and eroding trust in her brand. Instead, she could analyze feedback, refine her approach, and keep building her reputation steadily. By focusing on what she can control, her product's quality and her customer relationships, she sets the stage for long-term success. Often, the breakthrough comes months later, when a key influencer discovers her work or a loyal customer spreads the word. This happens not through force, but through consistent effort and trust in the process. Think of a river flowing through a valley. It moves naturally, carving its path through the landscape. If you try to force the river to change course by building barriers or digging new channels, you may succeed for a time, but the effort is immense, and the results are often temporary. The river will find its way, sometimes despite your efforts. But if you study its current, work with its flow, and guide it gently, you can achieve far more with less struggle. Life is much the same. Act where you can, but learn to flow with the current when forcing no longer works. Picture an aspiring writer working on their first novel. They can control their writing schedule, their research, and the care they put into each sentence. They can edit diligently and seek feedback to improve. But they cannot force a publisher to accept their manuscript or guarantee a bestseller. If they obsess over these outcomes, querying agents daily or rewriting endlessly in pursuit of perfection, they may lose their passion or miss other opportunities, like self-publishing or building an audience online. By focusing on crafting a great story and sharing it authentically, they create the conditions for success. The right agent or reader often appears when they stop forcing and start trusting their work's value. Successful people understand this balance. They are not passive. They act with clarity and purpose. They set goals, make plans, and take consistent steps forward, but they also recognize when to stop pushing. They know that some doors open only in their own time, that some battles are won by waiting rather than fighting. This is not weakness, it is strength. It takes courage to trust the process, to do your part and then release the outcome. It takes discipline to focus on what you can control and let go of what you cannot. Take a lesson from athletes training for a marathon. They control their diet, their training schedule, and their mindset. They log miles, build endurance, and prepare for race day. But they cannot control the weather, the course conditions, or how their body feels on the day of the event. If they try to force a personal record by ignoring fatigue or pushing through pain, they risk injury or failure. The wise runner listens to their body, adjusts their pace, and trusts their training. They may not hit their goal time, but they often finish stronger than if they had fought against the day's realities. Success in the race, and in life, comes from preparation and adaptability, not brute force. When you stop forcing everything, you begin to see the world differently. You notice opportunities that were hidden in your struggle. You find that the things you chased so desperately often come to you when you stop grasping. This is not about giving up, it is about acting wisely. It is about working hard but also resting well. It is about planting seeds and trusting they will grow. It is about taking responsibility for your actions while accepting that life has its own rhythm. Imagine you are planning a major life change, like moving to a new city. You can control your research, your savings, and your job applications. You can network and explore neighborhoods, but you cannot force the perfect apartment to appear on your timeline or guarantee a job offer by a certain date. If you cling to a rigid plan, rejecting opportunities that do not match your exact vision, you may miss out on unexpected possibilities, a better role in a different industry or a home in a neighborhood you had not considered. By acting diligently but staying open to life's flow, you allow the move to unfold in ways that align with your goals, often surpassing your original expectations. To live this way, start by identifying what you can control. Your effort is yours to command. Your choices are yours to make. Your mindset is yours to shape. Focus your energy here. Set clear goals and take deliberate steps toward them. Build habits that align with your vision. Surround yourself with people who lift you up. These are the levers you can pull, the actions that move you forward. But when it comes to the outcomes, the exact timing, the precise results, the responses of others, learn to loosen your grip. Do your best, then let the pieces fall where they may dot. For instance, if you are studying for a professional certification, you can control your study schedule, the resources you use, and how you manage stress. You can take practice exams and seek mentorship, but you cannot control the exact questions on the test or how the examiner interprets your answers. If you obsess over these unknowns, cramming until you are exhausted or second-guessing every choice, you may undermine your performance. Instead, prepare thoroughly, rest well, and trust your knowledge. The certification often comes not because you forced every detail, but because you built a strong foundation and let your preparation carry you through. This mindset shift is not easy. It requires practice. You will be tempted to force things, to cling to control when the world feels uncertain. But each time you choose to act wisely instead of forcefully, you build a muscle. You grow stronger in your ability to navigate life's complexities. You become more resilient, more adaptable, more attuned to the natural flow of things. And in that flow, you find ease. You find clarity. You find success. Reflect on your life. Where are you forcing things? Are you pushing a relationship to be something it is not? Are you clinging to a career path that no longer fits? Are you demanding results that depend on factors beyond your control? Take a step back. Ask yourself, what can I do today to move forward? What must I release to find peace? Then act on the first and let go of the second. This is the path to a life of purpose and progress. Consider a parent trying to guide their teenager. They can control the values they teach, the boundaries they set, and the conversations they initiate. They can model integrity and offer support, but they cannot force their child to make the right choices or shield them from every mistake. If they try, hovering over every decision or demanding perfection, they may strain the relationship or stifle the teen's growth. By focusing on what they can control, being a steady, loving presence, they create a foundation for trust. The teen often finds their way, not because the parent forced it, but because they were given room to grow within a supportive framework. When you stop forcing everything, you create space for life to work its magic. Doors open that you could not have pried apart. Solutions emerge that you could not have engineered. The right people, the right moments, the right opportunities find their way to you, not because you demanded them, but because you made room for them. Success is not about controlling every variable. It is about acting with intention, trusting the process, and allowing life to unfold. Think of an entrepreneur pitching to investors. They can control their preparation, their pitch deck, and how they present themselves. They can research the investors and tailor their approach, but they cannot force an investor to say yes or predict the market's response to their idea. If they push too hard, following up relentlessly or overselling their concept, they may come across as desperate. By delivering a strong pitch and then giving investors space to decide, they increase their chances of success. Often, the funding comes from an unexpected source, when the entrepreneur stops forcing and starts trusting their work's value. Keep this in mind as you move forward. Act boldly where you can. Plan carefully. Work diligently, but do not force what resists. Do not exhaust yourself trying to control the uncontrollable. Plant your seeds, tend your soil, and trust that growth will come. When you stop forcing everything, you will find that everything falls into place, not always as you imagined, but often better than you could have planned. Success is not about dominating life's challenges. It is about navigating them with wisdom, action, and trust.